Good day and welcome to SCO BRICS Insight, where we look at what's really going on in the world of the BRICS. Now today I want to talk about Russia and its agricultural exports to the countries of Asia and Africa. Now it's 40 years since Band-Aid sang "Feed the World," and Russia's doing just that, as it exports food products to over 100 countries worldwide in a wide range of those. In 2024, for the first time, a large number of African and Asian countries accounted for over 74% of Russia's agriculture and food exports. Industry analysts see very positive prospects for the development of these markets in the future as their populations continue to grow. While the limited availability of the European market is no longer a concern for Russian suppliers, the global market presents significant challenges with low margins and volatile prices affecting earnings in their key export positions. However, according to preliminary results for 2024, Russia's agricultural exports have slightly decreased in value but increased in physical terms by 9.5%. That's from data from the December the 8th from the Federal Center for the Development of Agricultural Exports at the Russian Ministry of Agriculture, which is called AgroExport. Now, Dmitry Krasnov, who's the head of AgroExport, attributes this growth to demand for meat and dairy, plus finished products like pasta, flour, etc., which are less susceptible to price fluctuations compared to actual grains and vegetable oils. He also notes that the decline in export revenues due to the significant decrease in the price of wheat and sunflower oil. Now, agricultural export analysts predict annual export figures at the level of $45 billion by the end of 2024. For the first 9 months, it was equal to $31.1 billion, which is just 4% lower than last year's figure, which was actually a record. Now, Daniil Kozlov, who's head of the External Environment Monitoring Department at Agro-Analysis, has stated that the geographic structure of Russia's exports has remained relatively stable in recent years. The key supply destinations for Russian agricultural exports are the Eurasian Economic Union, the Shanghai Cooperation State members, as well as BRICS members like Iran, Brazil, China, Egypt and India, plus Turkey, which is now a BRICS partner. Now, before I continue, I'd like to make an appeal. If you like and enjoy my videos, you can help me fund the channel and my website, SCOBRICSinsight.com, to further develop it. Now, you can do this by making a small donation, which is done by clicking on the thanks button at the bottom of the video screen. Everybody who donates does get a personal thank you from me, and I'm thanking you all now just for watching, because every view is important. Now, according to Kozlov, the share of Asian and African countries in Russia's agricultural exports increased from 59% to 69% in 2023, and in 2024 it will reach 74% in value terms. Russia's share in food imports by African countries is currently more than 15% in physical terms, and in response, Russia plans to expand its number of agricultural attaches in the embassies of the African countries. Now, the main products they supply to the regions are wheat, barley, corn, chickpeas, sunflower and rapeseed oils, meal, frozen fish and other seafood like scallops and crabs, plus chicken meat. In terms of the countries, the emphasis is on the promising developing African markets, according to Pavel Konov, who's a director of the export company Delivery by Sea. In 2024, Russia increased its wheat supplies to Kenya by 40%, with the country buying 2 million tons of grain and entering the top 5 buyers of Russian buyers of this crop. In turn, Kenya is the top 5 buyers, along with Morocco, who bought over 1 million tons. Nigeria and Tanzania also bought 1 million tons. Now, Nigerians are promising, due to its huge and rapidly growing population, its developed ports and its high proportion of a middle class. Now, the Democratic Republic of Congo is also of interest, but the logistics of the trade with them is a bit more complicated. Trade with China continues to grow, but it still has its problems. For instance, in 2023, China opened the pea market, and the first year it purchased over 1 million tons. So Russia continues to send as much as possible there. Now Russia increased its vegetable oil shipments by 2.5 times, reaching 2.5 million tonnes, including a 3.5-fold surge in sunflower oil, and displacing India as the primary buyer, with a twofold increase in rapeseed oil. However, in 2024, significantly dropped the pace of its crop imports due to the trade war with the US, and increased food security and a favourable harvest. Now, despite this, China has been one of the successes for Russia over the past year. From January to October 2024, the country imported more than 1 million tonnes of oats, buckwheat and barley from Russia, which is more than twice the figures from the previous year. Also, Russia continues to be the sole supplier of actual buckwheat. I don't know anybody else who eats it, actually. Now, Russia's interaction with India in the sphere of agricultural exports is actively reaching a new level. The trade turnover between the countries has grown by more than 1.5 times in the first 9 months of 2024. Now, Kiev agrees that Russian exports have high hopes for India, and according to him, sunflower oil exports to India in 2024 have already doubled last year's figures, reaching a record 1.9 million tonnes by December, and pea shipments have grown sixfold to 647,000 tonnes. Now, grains, particularly wheat, remain a key export for Russia. Now, according to analysts from Karolytsa, the main volume of grain sales from domestic farmers are provided to the markets of the Middle East and North Africa. 40% of the sales go to the Middle East, 22% to North Africa, 20% to Asia, 8% to Africa south of the Sahara, and 8% to others. Now, according to their data, the past 2 years, the largest buyers of Russian wheat have been Turkey, Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia and Bangladesh, with purchases ranging from 4 million tonnes, which is Turkey, to 1 million tonnes, which is Iran. Now, the sales volumes of grain and leguminous crops amounted for 71.3 million tonnes for a total value of $16.13 billion as of December. In the same period last year, it was 15.9 billion, with export sales of 62.3 million tonnes, according to the Russian People's Farmers Association. Now, according to their data, the ministry will expand the export of niche goods since they provide more revenue per unit of weight. So they forecast that Russia will maintain its global leadership in the share of wheat in the world market in 24-25, with over 23% of the world market, or more than 46 million tonnes, as well as the dominance of wheat in their share of Russian grain exports, which is at more than 75%. Now, in addition to the low-margin wheat market, other crops such as barley are given consideration, because the export duty on barley is currently zero, a measure implemented to actually stimulate Russia's market share and be involved in the production. Soybeans, rapeseed and their derivatives are also experiencing strong growth in sales. Now, from Karolytsa, they stated that Russia's soybean potential is estimated at an additional 7 to 8 million tonnes, and that's because of the expansion of the crop areas. Now, China is projected to remain the primary sales market of this because they use it for pig feed. By the end of 2024, the production of vegetable oils is expected to exceed 10 million tonnes, with 7.5 million tonnes scheduled for exports because they obviously they're saturated the Russian market, and that marks an increase of 830,000 tonnes compared to last year. Now, according to Mikhail Maltsev, who's the executive director of the Oil and Fats Union, he says that sunflower oil exports will set new records, surpassing last year's figures by 1 million tonnes to reach 5.4 million tonnes. Now, in addition to the low wheat market, there is other areas for growth, and that includes key buyers that are being consistent and stable over the last few years. In terms of export volumes, the ranking is as follows: India, China, Turkey, Egypt, Iran and Algeria. And by the end of 2024, India is set to surpass China as being the leading importer of Russian vegetable oils, particularly sunflower oils. Now the shift will displace China as the top importer from 2023. Additionally, India is set to overtake Algeria's leading importer of soybean oil. According to estimates by the Oil and Fats Union, vegetable oil exports in 2025 will be 7.2 million tonnes. Now, record harvests of rapeseed and soybeans this year are expected to drive a 15% increase in the exports of these products compared to last year. Now, let's look at some of the other things. Russia currently holds third position among the world's leading vegetable oil exports with that 8% global market share, and it only trails the primary suppliers of palm oil, which are Indonesia and Malaysia. But you've got to remember, Russia's a leader in the total volume of sunflower, rapeseed and soybean oil exports, accounting for, between the three types of oil, 20% of the global market. And the Russian Agricultural Ministry indicates that the share of certain agricultural products in the export volume will undergo significant growth in the coming years, although it remains comparatively modest at the moment. According to agro-export data, meat supplies have experienced a 20% increase in value and a 23% in physical terms. All types of products, including this category with the exception of lamb, have shown very good growth. Poultry has grown by 13% in value terms, pork by 38% and beef by 12%. The total volume of meat exports from Russia is 1 million tonnes. That's a lot of pigs and cattle, isn't it? Now, agro-export has reported a significant increase in poultry meat supplies, and that's driven by increases of exports to Saudi Arabia and the UAE. Saudi Arabia is up 96% and the UAE is up 87%. Now, the opening of the Chinese market last year also led to increased pork supplies. The volume of pork supplies, including offal to China, is now over 380,000 tonnes with a value of over $1 billion. Beef exports have already grown significantly, driven by the markets of the Persian Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iran and the United Arab Emirates. Now, at present, the most promising export destinations are Africa and Southeast Asia, as these markets demonstrate stable demand for meat due to the growing income level of the population and their changing consumer preferences. Now, that's because they're the growing middle class. He also notes there's significant interest in selling bits of the products with the maximum margins on them, which there's no great demand for in Russia. For example, offal. Not very popular in Russia, but it's in demand in Asian countries. Everybody knows that the only thing with four legs the Chinese do not eat is a table. The only thing with wings they don't eat is an aeroplane, and everything else gets eaten from the feet to the ears. Pig's ears, by the way, are very much a delicacy in China. And most importantly, in recent years, pork production in Russia has grown significantly, and the sales part of the production for exports become a necessary condition for maintaining balanced prices and developing the potential of the internal Russian market. So according to analysts at agro-export, dairy exports have also shown a 20% growth in value terms when compared with the same period last year. Now this is notable because of the growth that was observed in the cheese and cottage cheese supplies, which increased by 25%, followed by milk and cream 40%, and powdered milk is now a major export and up 32%. Dairy exports to China surged by 60% and reached $76 million, primarily driven by an increase in cheese supplies along with powdered milk. Do you remember China had a scandal with powdered milk? It's worth noting that the growth has been observed in the export markets of Algeria, Egypt, Saudi Arabia and China. And the positive dynamics in powdered milk is a major thing, obviously, for babies' consumption. So Russia continues to feed the world with quality GMO food, and its farmers' future looks bright. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, share, and if you want to help me out, click on the thanks button at the bottom of the screen and make a donation, and I'll see you all again soon. Thank you.